that was given to an editorial board shortly after he left, when he went back to Portland State a handful of years ago. And he said the sweet spot, or the ideal forecast from our office is something like up $50, $70 million a quarter, right? Come in, we tell you the economy is still expanding, you have a little bit more money in the budget to help with unforeseen events. What I think he missed when he said that as his quote was that if you string 8 quarterly increases of $50 or $70 million in a row, you do the ideal forecast every single time, that's a kicker, guaranteed, right? And so I think that was an interesting thing that he said on his departure. But then we'll compare that with one of the best forecasts. There's no question economists, and our office in particular, we struggled mightily with the Great Recession, and then that flowed directly through to tax collections and the budget problems and issues that you guys dealt with on a daily and quarterly basis during that time period. However, once we hit bottom, and it was a very, very severe bottom, we've done a pretty good track record, starting with Tom and continuing with Mark, of forecasting this expansion coming out. The ride down was rocky and was terrible, but the ride out has been relatively close to expectations. And on our blog, our office blog, Tom wrote one thing. Over the years, he just wrote one post on that, and it came in the summer of 2010. And he titled it, "Bottom Fishing with No Bait." And he said, at that time, the economy has stopped getting worse, but things aren't going to get better for quite some time. And it's going to take 48 months for us to regain all of our job losses that we lost during the Great Recession. It's going to take us 48 months. Well, if you look at the chart in front of you today, based on the currently published data, it took 55 months, right? And so again, from that rock bottom place, and he pulled up music in front of this committee. When you're laying flat on your back, everything looks up. I don't know if some of you guys remember that, where it took him a couple quarters to figure out how to get the media to work. But again, and so that was probably one of the best things he did. And he took a lot of grief during the time period with the Great Recession. And when he said the recession was over, but it's going to be a slow recovery, the internet section, comment section went crazy. They were posting his home address and how to get to it, like threatening, like all sorts of stuff was going on because the economy was so bad. And so I think even in that time of trial, that was probably one of the best forecasts that was produced under his watch. And so for that, thankful for Paul's tenure, Tom's tenure here, both in our office and with the Legislative Revenue Office. We're all better off for their years of service, and thank you.
We truly are.